Hey, what's going on? So I really wanted to do a video to try to help just beginner producers and give them some tips on when you're getting started, some things to try to do and some things to try to avoid. So these are some mistakes that you might want to try to avoid as a starting producer. I thought what better way to go through these potential mistakes than by going through some of my early beats and seeing some of the things that I did wrong in those, or some of the things that I would change now in those. So I'm going to play one of my early beats. I made this probably 7 or 8 years ago when I first started, and then we can talk about some of the things that I think we definitely could improve upon and something that I would try to avoid that is probably in this beat. Alright, let's take a listen. Okay, I think that's a good place to stop. So first tip, first thing you want to avoid, which you could clearly hear on that beat, was a lot of beginner producers when they're first starting mix way too loud. You could hear that the drums, bass, everything was just mixed so loud that the beat was actually distorted. And that's something I think when you're a new producer and you come up with something to put into your beat, it sounds great, it's a really good idea. You want to make it at the forefront of the beat. Then you come up with something else that's also a really good idea, and you want to put that at the forefront. And by the time you come up with all of your great ideas, the beat is super distorted because everything is turned up way too loud, and you can only export so much sound out of a machine. So you could really tell that I was doing that myself in that beat. The second thing that I recommend avoiding, what you could hear in that beat, is overcomplicating the beat. Especially with the sample that you heard for a number of bars in the intro. It could have been a simple beat, and I liked the sample, I thought it was good, but just trying to add a perfect drum pattern and add so many elements sometimes isn't necessary. And I think when you're first starting, you want to put all of your skills into every single beat, and sometimes you have to just gauge whether or not that skill that you have is going to actually help the beat become better, or tamper it down and water it down with so many different elements that may not actually match what you're trying to accomplish. And then the third thing that I find is a mistake that a lot of beginner producers make is not conveying your style into the beat that you're trying to make. When I first started, I didn't even have a style, and it makes sense that when you're first becoming a producer that you don't. So trying to find that style and convey it in all of your beats, I think is something that you should try to strive for in every beat that you make. So I was thinking what we could do now is, I was able to track down the sample I used in that beat from a number of years ago. I have it loaded up into the MPC, and now I'm just going to try to make a beat using that sample and avoiding those mistakes that I had brought up, those 3 mistakes that I brought up. The sample is by the Originals. It's from their record Naturally Together. Really good record, lots of songs on here to enjoy and to sample. So if you ever see it, you should grab it for sure. And here's the beat chopped up on the MPC. I don't want to just loop the sample the same way I did in the original beat that you heard. So I'm going to try to pitch the sample way down and see if we can do something in the low 80s, and it'll be almost like dreamy from how pitched down it is. So I'm going to try to get something together with the sample. As you can hear, it's like a super dreamy sound. It's going to be a really simple beat. And that goes into point 2. I'm now going to add the drums, and we want to not overcomplicate the beat. Just based off the sample that was chosen when I originally made this beat, I don't think there was really much potential for it to be something really energetic. it's a simple beat, which is great. Like, that's not a negative, but I think we just have to keep that in mind. We're not going to make this overcomplicated. We have the sample, let's add some drums and then see if, what we can add on top of that. So let's come up with a drum pattern. I just put that drum pattern together really quickly. One thing I found that I used to do when I was first starting was I would labor over a beat for a really long time. Like it would take me 20 minutes or 25 minutes to chop the sample and come up with a pattern, and then another 30 minutes to do the drums, and another 30 minutes to do the bass. And one thing I've learned after spending all of those hours trying to get, not that great beats done is I'm never afraid to just completely scrap an idea that I've started. I find the best beats that I make are usually done in 15 minutes. Like the beat from start to finish is done in 15 minutes. And sometimes it's a bit longer and sometimes it's a bit shorter, but I find no matter how much extra time you put into it, sometimes it's just not meant to be. But now that we have that drum pattern together, I'm just going to add a bass line. Let's do it. So I decided I didn't really like the open hi-hat that was in the drum beat, so I just scrapped it and I'm going to record in a basic hi-hat pattern. Let's do it. Okay, so now we have the sample chopped up, the drums in the beat, and the bass line in the beat as well. And the last thing I'll say is, as long as you're having fun making beats, you really can't make any mistakes, because that's what it's all about. But yeah, I hope you really liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. And if not, let me know in the comments what you'd like to see in a future video. I'm always in the comments, and I love hearing from you guys. Love you so much. Thank you. Peace.